So here I am fixing my motherfucking house again. Y'all, I had to finish assembling that little sliver of wall that goes into the corner. And because it was such a little piece of wall, I was able to stand it up and get it into place myself. And then I started cutting my jack stud. So whenever you frame a door opening, there's a king stud, a jack stud, a header, and cripples. The jack studs go directly at the door opening, and that is what supports the header. The header sits on top of the jack studs. And the king studs are just a regular stud that run from bottom plate to top plate, but they attach to the jack stud. They sit right next to it. And so my rough opening for both doors needed to be 82 3/4. But because the bottom plate is already installed, the bottom plate is 1.5 inches. So I had to do 82 3/4 minus 1.5 inches, which was 81 1.25. So I had cut all of my jack studs to be 81 1/4. Then I went upstairs because upstairs I have two 2x6s that was nailed together, and I used them as a beam for whenever I had jacked up my house and needed to replace an exterior load-bearing wall. And so I did not actually buy any 2x6s for this project, but because I had them 2x6s upstairs, I figured I would use them for my header because the existing wall that I'm framing in front of is load-bearing. And so technically the wall that I'm building in front of it, like, it doesn't need to be load-bearing, but I would really like to frame this wall as correctly as possible because I do plan on removing some of the existing wall where the closet door opening is, like the closet under the steps, so that on the inside of the closet, the wall is the same wall as in the living room. Like, I don't want there to be two walls in the closet. And so because I'm going to be cutting out so much of the existing wall, I want my new wall to be able to support the load. So right here, you'll be able to see that is my jack stud, and it goes right up against the king stud, and they go right up to the door opening. I am just removing the drywall screws that was on the wall still from me tearing the drywall out. That way my stud will go up against the wall properly. And I am making sure that those 2x4s are flush. Flush just means that I have those two 2x4s right next to each other, and I want them to be lined up perfectly so that when I hang drywall on the front of it, like, you don't want one stud to sit back or sit forward farther than the other stud. You want them to be the same level, like levelness across the wall. And so that is what flush means. If somebody says, make your boards flush, you want them all to line up. Now, while I was there, I took the measurement for my header, and then I went over to my basement door opening, and I also installed my jack studs there. So again, the shorter studs on the outside, those are the jack studs, and the studs that go from top to bottom right next to them, those are the king studs, and my header will sit on top of the jack studs. And I will secure the header to both the jack studs and the king studs. And then the little itty bitty studs that go from the header to the top plate are called cripples.